Okay.
Yeah.
I would just like to, tell all of you that, it's great that you discuss, but make sure the answers are not copied from each other, because if it is copied, you guys will not get marks.
Yeah,
so I hope
definitely.
Madam, we are all Madam, we are all professional students, and
no, because
please
we've
don't
awarded zero to
expect
many
us to
people.
copy it.
That is why I'm saying, I just heard Advani ji saying that, he's doing merit and you're doing ENY. So that's why I'm again reiterating. I understand everybody's professional, but it has happened, and in the last exams.
Thank you very much.
Just reiterating. Thanks.
Madam, just
Thank you very
Madam,
much.
I just would like to mention that it was during our sessions when we have been asked to prepare separate.
No. I am talking completely differently. I'm talking about the assignments and the exams.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what we are saying. So
you are talking about few set of people. I'm talking about majority set of people.
Okay.
What I heard, I just wanted to be, informing that this is, make sure that, your answers are individual.
Yeah, thanks for highlighting that, Usha.
Yeah,
it's important
thanks.
that everyone knows about that.
Okay, may I go proceed, madam?
Yeah.
The assignments says we need to answer the questions which are given at the end of the chapter. But those questions, those answers should be based, or they should be referred to, or they should be related to, or they should be based upon the cases, like Marriott's answer and then E and Y's answers. So we cannot give the answers in general form, but the reference always needs to be made to the case as to what Marriott has done or what E and Y has done in the cases, and accordingly we need to answer. Like, say, for example, in case of Marriott, it is asking for what is the talent management, then it is asking for what is talent development. So what those organizations have done in that, we need to answer that. So the case is the basis. And again, the case does not involve any questions to ponder or any questions to be answered. It is just giving the facts, what Marriott has done or what E and Y has done. So accordingly, we need to give answers. So my earnest request to you is, okay, like Chandruji has already said that we have discussed the cases, even we have formed a group and done that. Anyway, my activity was not complete for some or the other reason, because I could not form the group and discuss it. But my earnest request to you is, please give your insights on those two cases. We have already discussed those cases among us, with madam, but your text will be much more important. Thank you very much.
Jagannath, my request would be not to focus on assignments. These classes are, you should look at overall getting the knowledge of the subject, and from your final exam point of view. Assignments, I'm sure you can do on your own. But if you have any concept related questions, if you have difficulty in understanding questions, and if you want to know specifically my views on from the industry perspective or from the concept or the theory perspective, I can definitely give you inputs. But if you do entire case study now, then what will happen is that the syllabus that, last time someone had suggested that we do talent management models, that we will not be able to cover. So all of you will have to decide, whoever has joined now, what is it that we want to do now? What is the best use of time?
It's up to you, madam. Thank you very much.
What is the last date for you to submit the assignment?
31st May.
31st of May. 31st, end of this month.
I think most of you would have already kind of finished working on it, or rather closer to completing, because it's
basic of it is done. Now we are just finalizing it.
So you all need to, I feel personally, what would be the best use of time is getting the absolute clarity on the concept, the fundamentals of talent management, whatever concepts that you want to, because we don't know what kind of questions are going to come in the exam. So I think that would be the best use of time, but I still leave it to you. If you want to pick up any particular case study and talk about it, that is going to be more from the assignment point of view. But if we want to overall, for example, somebody had talked about talent management model to be discussed today. So if we want to do that, let's do that. So you all can decide.
Yes, ma'am. I think that is what I suggested last time in the last class, was to touch upon the strategies and the models of talent management. That is what basically my suggestion was. I don't know. And I think most of the students that were participating at that time, they all were in agreement of the same thing as well. So I don't know whether they still are interested in listening and learning more about the talent management strategies and the models. Because I think that would be the best way to, this class would be really more productive that way, in my opinion.
But what is intriguing and what surprises me every time is that there is nobody on camera. I don't know whether it is like this. This is how it has been for all classes, or this is happening only now, unless you are having your lunch or whatever. Nobody is ever on camera.
I'm having my lunch now.
From the day one.
Yeah.
I'm having my lunch. Sorry.
What about others? So then what happens is that, when you're doing something else, and I'm not talking about you, Chandru. So I'm just saying in general, if you are multitasking and just listening to the class, you will miss out something or the other. And then I have experience in the last few classes is that those who miss out first few minutes come back and ask the same question. So it's better that you all are there physically, mentally, to make best use of time, because these are your classes. These sessions are for you. So please make maximum use of time. I mean, if you're not there but not there, then it's not going to help. Okay, so let's quickly decide what is the best use of our time. No responses? Are you all there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. No responses. Can you see the slide? since there are no responses, I thought I'll just do what I feel.
We can see this. I can see.
Okay. So we had kind of touched upon it last time, but again, let me just reiterate what we had already discussed a bit. Okay, so we discussed about what is talent last time, right? We talked about what is potential assessment, and we also talked about 9-box grid. We did all of that in quite detail. Now, what is the purpose of talent management? The talent management is basically, and in the first class we have by the way discussed, but I'll quickly run you through some of these slides so that we are just refreshing what we have discussed already. So basically, is to make sure that we make optimum utilization of talent. That is what we said, right? Now, if there is a gap between the requirement of talent and so somebody exits and we need that talent immediately, then it's a problem. We are not able to fill the gap. That means loss of productivity, loss of profits, everything. So it's a big loss for the organization. And businesses which take time to fill that gap, the time from the time the need arises to the time the requirement is filled. I wouldn't say exactly a vacancy because it's not necessary that every time there is a vacancy. Sometimes, so there are various kinds of attritions, right, that you have already studied. So either there is natural attrition where someone retires, people leave the organization for better prospects, better salary, better profile, etc. So there can be various reasons. Some people leave because of organization culture, because of the boss, etc. Now, because of whatever reasons, some attrition can be predicted, which happens because of the retirement. Some organizations also claim that basis the analysis of the data, they can still predict some people to leave. So whether you have the bench strength ready, so bench strength is not exactly the right word, but whether you have the pipeline, talent pool ready, talent pipeline ready to fill the gaps. Right now, that's one. Now, what are the repercussions? What are the losses? We already said that there is a business loss. Right? So if you're not able to source or retain talent, then it leads to, now wherever there is a customer interaction involved, the customers will not be happy, they will not give you business, and of course there will be the growth may go down for the organization. So end to end managing the talent is talent management. Right from the time you identify, recruit, and develop people, and of course retention. But for me, according to me, it starts with the strategy, the business strategy, and then the talent strategy, which aligns with the business strategy, and then everything else kind of may become activity if you don't do it with your heart and soul in place. And of course, retention, making sure that the talent is engaged, and motivated. That's also another important purpose of talent management. Yeah? And Peter Capelli has also mentioned talent management. It exists to support the organization's overall objectives, which in business essentially amounts to making money. Right? Every organization exists for profits, except organizations which are not for profit or the NGOs, voluntary organizations. All other organizations exist for profit, and if they don't earn money, they don't keep their stakeholders happy, they might see a natural death, either because of the competition, business competition, or because they don't do things right. There are lots of things that other than the talent management also that the organization needs. Right? Any doubts here as far as purpose of talent management is concerned?
Not really.
Okay, sure. So what are the benefits? you have talent pool ready, you have the pipeline ready, you have the succession planning ready. Succession planning again is another important part of talent management. You have on demand anytime you want, there is a vacancy. We've seen in several organizations, whether in my current organization or at Kotak Life Insurance, the bigger organizations especially, they know where to who to get from where. Internal transfers, mobility is also part of talent management. So talent marketplace, internal talent marketplace is also a part of talent management, right? Now your models may not talk about transfers and the internal transfers or the movement within the organization, but it is very, very important part. Lot of internal movement happens, restructuring keeps happening in the talent management. So there is no loss actually if you know who has what skill, and you are able to fill the gap immediately, and there are no disruptions. Can you imagine in the HR department, the payroll person leaves or comp and benefits person leaves? Comp and benefits, it's still, I feel, you can still be okay if you need to run a payroll and then you don't have a payroll person, right? So what kind of backups you have, what kind of talent you keep training and keep them ready is also important. Also, it leads to improvement in the productivity, because what happens is that the time that you will take to train people, there will be the time people take to come up to speed, uh, there is some kind of loss of productivity. It's important that you identify people in advance, keep training them, because everybody needs to grow in the organization. If there is no clear career path, they will not, so people will leave. They will feel that anyways I don't have any growth prospects here, they will leave. And also we talked about potential assessment last time. So people have potential, and why not use them for the benefit of the organization? Again, reduce costs. If you don't retain people, then of course you incur a lot of money, not only because of the productivity loss, but also because of the cost of hiring and training of new hires. Yeah, and when people are already there with us, they've spent some time, they're able to innovate. New people will take time to innovate, come up to speed, start thinking of new ways of working, new methods of working. Yeah? These are some of the benefits of talent. Any doubts here?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Yes, madam. Regarding the purpose of talent management, as you mentioned in earlier, now when we are talking about the talent, it will be related to the industry or the organization, depending on the nature, type of business, and so on, or whether we are talking about the talent in general, whether it is the academic talent or whether it's the technical talent or in general. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I didn't understand your question, Jagannath.
My question is, while we are talking about the talent management, and when we are referring to the talent, whether it is the general talent or whether it is the industry specific, business specific, organization specific talent, whether we are talking about the academic of it or whether we are talking about the technical part of it. This is my question. Thank you.
Okay, talent means all kinds of talent, right? So in the context of
But
organization,
then
it is the
for that purpose, yeah, the sub question for that purpose, the people who are interested with this process of talent management, they need to be well versed in the requirement requisitions of the organization, right? Like you mentioned, it's all type of talent. So typically people will require the industry specific or technical talent. Organizations will require which kind, whatever kind of industry it is. So the HR typically, or maybe the people who are interested with this process, they need to be well versed in this, right?
yes, of course. I mean, knowing the business is very important for anybody in HR or in the organization, for that matter. For you to do your job well, one needs to know the business very well. So what kind of people are required in the organization? What kinds of skill sets are required? If I have to know what kind of people are required and what kind of skills they should bring with them, I will have to know the business, and I will have to know what products we have, what kind of what is the requirement of the business. So if there is a gap, then of course you will end up hiring wrong people. So because talent hiring is an important part of talent management, it is important that you know what is required. And over a period of time, people will know. People who, for example, I have 25 years of experience. I have worked in various industries. By now, I know various industries. But what is important is to understand the talent process itself. Then it doesn't matter which industry you join. Your learning curve should be high. You should be ready to learn. Even if I join, let's say, after a few years, I join a banking industry or an IT, information technology industry, it shouldn't matter the product of the organization or the business of the organization. I will learn the industry fast because I already understand people. I understand the life cycles of the people. So then understanding life cycle of the organization shouldn't take much time for me. These days, people start understanding the organization and the business even right from the time they go for the interview. So it doesn't matter which industry you belong to. But when you want to switch, you will have to learn the new industry. Basic concepts over a period of time, if you understand human beings, then you will understand the talent for sure. Someone has raised hand.
Yes, it's me, ma'am.
Yes, Sunil.
Yeah, ma'am Advani here. So just on the basis of what you just mentioned, answering to JK sir's question, basically what I also wanted to understand is like how you correctly mentioned, it's more of you have to understand the people, you have to understand the organization, you have to understand the culture, you have to understand the product, services, all of that. So how does the talent value chain works in this case? Like when we talk about the talent value chain, so how does that key elements work in that?
So what is talent value chain according to you?
So it's basically all what you just mentioned. It's more about, like the talent management, the whole process itself.
Yeah.
It's all about identifying, recruiting, and, retaining the people.
Yeah.
So the value chain, how does that how does that work?
So I don't understand what you mean by value chain. It's the process of talent management is what you're asking.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Basically, how does this whole process works?
Yeah, so we have covered that last time, but we will cover that again. I have reached purpose and benefits. I will go ahead.
Okay.
I just
Okay.
here to
Okay.
ask you questions.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
So I am just taking whatever is there in the book because so that we go by the book and not because there is a lot of material available as far as talent management is concerned. But since we have limited time and you will also have limited time, I think it's better that you focus on the book first. And once you complete reading the book, then you can go for the other material. I mean, whatever external books or articles or whatever is available on the net, you should go for it only once you complete reading the book. So this is what is there as far as the talent management is concerned. Page number 15, integrated talent management model. Right? It talks about talent stewardship. Talent stewardship is nothing but that you actually nurture the. There is one that is natural talent. How do you nurture that, and how do you develop that? So it's identity, but I think it's identify. There's mistake. Okay. So you identify the talent. This is the if this is what you mean by value chain, then this is what it is. Okay, it starts with strategy. HR can't just create some PPTs and decks and say that I understand how to do talent management and I will do it. No, it has to start with a strategy. What is it that you want to achieve in the organization? Now that's a very, very different it's a bigger topic of HR strategy, so we will not get into that. But your talent strategy, HR strategy should be very clear, and your human resources strategy should be aligned to the business strategy. And so it starts with identifying the resources. So identifying is what do? You do the recruitment and selection. So this is I'm sure this model must have been made. So this is made in 2012, looks like integrated talent management model was in 2012. So recruitment and selection, talent reviews. There are reviews that keep happening, right? So either periodical talent assessments or the succession planning that keeps happening in the organization. That is how you identify the talent. So whether it is your 9-box grid or you do any other assessments in the organization, you will know whether the person has the potential or not. So you first of all, you start with identifying the talent, and it will all depend on what is the need, what is the business need, whether the business needs the kind of talent that we are hiring. Human resources or the hiring team can't just hire people just for the sake of it, unless there is a requirement, very clear requirement. There are budgets in place, and one can't exceed those budgets. So even if there is a need, then if the budget is not there, one can't hire. So it needs to be linked to business. Then there are assessments and multi-rater feedback is basically your 360-degree feedback. There are engagement surveys and there is performance management. You keep assessing all the time. There is a lot of performance management gives you a lot of inputs. One is that it gives you a lot of promotions happen after performance management. You will also know even if you can't give promotion, what is a potential talent to performance management, because you have those dialogues, you have those conversations with people. Then there are a lot of leadership assessments available in the market. Then there is 360-degree. 360-degree is generally done for senior management, the top management, and it gives you, so there are multiple people, respondents who give feedback. So whether it is leadership, your reporting manager, your subordinate, your peer, and some organizations also look at customer. So there are business facing functions may even have somebody from the customer side giving feedback. So that's 360-degree. Without customer, it's not really a 360-degree. So for HR, a stakeholder can be somebody from finance or somebody from business whom I'm supposed to service. So that kind of stakeholder. Without that, it is not really 360. And then there are engagement surveys. There is Gallup. Then there is Great Place to Work. There are lots of engagement surveys in the market, and so that gives you a lot of idea about the talent. And then you develop for developing the talent. You can keep doing a lot of things: basic training, skill-based training program, to development programs. So short term, these days you have these micro modules, where 1 hour module, 15 minutes module, half an hour modules, to you have full day sessions, in-person sessions, full days, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, or even 1 week long training and development program. Right now, whatever words you may use, you should be absolutely clear that a short-term program is called training, long-term program may be called a development program, right? And then there are a lot of courses that organizations may offer. Sponsor employees for various courses, whether it is required by an organization or no, or by it is because of the aspiration of the employees. They may want to take up some courses because they want to go to the next level. So you have to develop people accordingly. So either organization sponsors people or encourages people to take up courses on their own. So for example, some organizations, of course, even conduct programs like English speaking. Now, not all organizations may do it, but those who are not able to speak well in English, they will have to enroll themselves for English speaking class. right? So either you have to take up something as far as the self-development is concerned, or have to go through the organization sponsored training programs, whether internal or external, and then retention. Lots of things, you keep engaging talent, you keep analyzing the data. Who are the people who are staying with the organization? If there are people who are leaving the organization, why are they leaving? Find out the reasons for attrition and then work on those reasons. And then, of course, you keep analyzing everything, whether we are using everything. You will have to analyze right from the hiring, that is whether we are hiring from the right source, whether we are using the right consultants, etc., whether the cost of hiring is on the higher side or no. Analyze the details all the time, whether we are assessing the talent properly, whether we are investing in the development of the employees. And then retention will take place only if you are doing the other areas right. Your identification, assessment, and development is happening properly, then only your retention will be good, right? So it will also mean the compensation and benefits. That is what money you are paying to employees, the fixed cost, the variable, and also the long-term rewards, whether it is ESOPs or whether it is deferred payments. Some organizations also have 3 years, 5 years plan, and they defer the variable over a period of time. But yeah, employees won't stay that long, so you have to make sure that you have a correct mix of uh, variable and fixed. At lower side, you will have they might want more take home than the variable, which one will get at the end of the year. As you grow up, as you become senior in the organization, in the industry, one would want to have higher variable and fixed. Or in fact, the managements these days emphasize on having lower fixed and higher variable, because the stakes are high. I can't pay a CEO very high amount if the CEO is going to just make money and then not really contribute to the organization's growth. So the stakes are very high. The board level, the CEO level, the top management, generally the variable is on the higher side, because it varies with the profits of the organization. It varies with how much money the organization has. Right. So that's what is integrated talent management model. Any questions here?
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to ask you one question regarding this assessments, ma'am.
Yeah.
So regarding the assessment, I have what is this multi-rater feedback?
I already answered that question.
Maybe I missed out. Sorry.
That's what I'm saying. If you guys are not on camera and multitask, then you are going to miss it.
360-degree, Chandruji.
Okay, thank you.
It's a 360-degree feedback. I actually covered this in detail.
The rest of that, I got the rest. I just missed out on this multi-rater feedback.
So it's a feedback that you get from various stakeholders in the organization.
Okay.
Your manager, your subordinate, your peer, and even customer.
Thanks.
Any other question? On the talent management itself, any questions? So Chandru, basically you will have various models that you might have, but the basic concept, basic fundamental is that you will do everything as far as the talent management is concerned. You will have to plan in advance and do it right. That's the fundamental.
Correct.
Right, from hiring to retiring or exit.
Correct.
And
Yeah, I was just thinking on the same lines. Like when I saw this integrated talent management model,
yeah,
I was just thinking about it from my perspective is like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and then final stage 4.
Yeah.
So I graded them accordingly, as strategy being stage 1, then assessment being stage 2, and develop being stage 3, and retain stage 4.
And also you will have to keep analyzing data. The data is the biggest asset these days. as you spend time in the organization and keep working on the employees, it will keep throwing up a lot of data. So how do you collect that data and keep analyzing it? Make sure that you refine your processes. Make sure that you keep making changes in your talent management process or overall human resources. It's just that you shouldn't get bogged down by the word talent management. Some organizations may not have the talent management function at all. I mean, that means they're doing. It doesn't mean that they don't know how to manage talent. It's just that they are not using that term.
Correct.
So it's basically human resources making sure, but in talent management, you have a dedicated team to make sure that everything is integrated.
Right.
And keep giving inputs to hiring team, keep giving inputs to various teams, performance management team, and those who are doing succession planning and
Got it, ma'am.
any question, anybody else? No questions? Any other questions? Anything else?
Ma'am, may I?
Yeah.
Just referring to page number 30.
30?
Yeah, page
Yeah.
30.
Okay.
Talent acquisition maturity model.
Yeah. What is the question?
Just basic. I'm just to have a little better understanding from your perspective. No questions as such.
Okay. You saw some heavy words, so you thought you must know. Yeah. So
Talent acquisition maturity model. I've never heard of this term. That's why.
So, okay, so don't get bogged down by anything that is mentioned. So basically, one is that they've mentioned about the reactive technique, tactical recruiting. Reactive meaning what? That you are actually, as and when there is a vacancy, you will keep on hiring. Recruiting is done locally by HR generalists who are order takers for hiring managers positions. If you read, you will get the answers. Don't get bogged down. My request to all of you is to read everything. You will have to read the book, but don't get bogged down. When you read, you will realize that it's very simple. Even in exam, like I said last time also, please read the question 2-3 times, and similarly read the entire book properly, so you will realize that it is all very simple. There is any subject which is simple, or any faculty rather, which is simple, is human resources, which is easy because you are day in and day out. Everybody is working in an organization, right? So it's very easy. You have been hired already, so you have gone through interview process, right? You have left some organization, so you have done exit, right? You've seen people getting hired, so and you have seen life cycles. You would have gone through performance appraisal. So every process in the organization you have witnessed. So, and if you put some models here and there, some strategy here there, you'll be able to answer all the questions. It's just that you don't get bogged down, especially those who are not from human resources. Please don't feel overwhelmed by the terms. That's my request to you. Now, coming back to page 30. Positions are posted on an as needed basis, minimal hiring compliance standards met, no real process defined. So like I said, you are reacting to the situation. Something happens somewhere and you react, right? Somebody else at you react. You will also end up shouting. So that is the reaction. I say something to you, are you able to hear me? And you say yes, that's a reaction. So recruitment can't be reactive, right? But if you do reactive in a smaller organization, it is possible where they can't have excess number of employees and you can't have transfers done because the number of itself could be very small. In that case, it will be a reactive or the tactical hiring, recruiting. Let's standardize operational recruiting processes and technologies standardized across the organization, beginning to establish strong relationships with hiring managers and effective assessment of candidates against the job standards. You have standardized all the operational processes. Entire recruiting is standardized. In smaller organization, again, there are no standards, and the owner might just hire whatever, might just decide what to offer as a salary, and what who to hire, whether to hire experience or a fresher, all of that. So standardize is the standardization of the recruiting. Integrated talent acquisition, full integration with HR and talent management. Strong employment brand, successful social media campaign, active pipeline of candidates, robust TA programs, diversity, alumni, employee referral. Now, integrated talent acquisition means what? Some of you who have diversity and inclusion teams in the organization will know that the organizations take up diversity diversity percentage as a goal for itself. Then it's not really a goal only for the hiring team, it's a goal for the organization and everybody in the organization to work towards that. Do you all agree? Anybody?
Yeah, that is, and there is, this reflection is also there when you are doing any employee engagement survey like GPTW, Red Place to Work. They have a criteria for diversity. Like any other survey, employee engagement survey, there is, there is a standard saying what is the diversity of your organization. So that is there.
Sure. So
and diversity is not only, I just would like to mention another thing, which is very much pertinent to this discussion. Diversity is not only the male and female ratio. Diversity is, diversity leads to gender, diversity leads to race, diversity leads to age, diversity leads to various backgrounds. Everything is diversity. We have preconceived notions that diversity means only male and female ratio in the organization. That is not very likely true in every cases.
No. So the progressive organizations will not have this notion of only gender diversity. Progressive organizations will hire differently abled people. One thing that nobody talks about is inclusion. People hire diverse people, but the inclusion is not there. So inclusion is another question mark. The second is the diversity of thoughts. Diversity of people coming from different cultures. All that is, people pay less attention. Of course, the progressive organizations really look at diversity in really seriously. So there you won't have such issues. But integrated talent strategy or integrated talent acquisition means you will decide how many or what percentage of differently abled people will you hire, what percentage of gender ratio you will have, what percentage of any other diversity aspects that you will hire from. But when it comes to when organizations start off, they of course focus on the gender diversity and differently abled. These are the two things people focus on because you will have to start somewhere. We are not, because I'm differently abled people, meaning you will need to have all the physical the organization of the place. So for example, you will need to have the toilets which are required for the differently abled. You can't just hire people, right? You need to have lifts lifts, and if you have staircase, then of course you can't hire differently abled people. So all of that, one needs to prepare themselves before they start hiring. So the organizations which have the integrated approach will create the office spaces in such a manner, the office design in such a manner that you will prepare yourself for all of these things, and then only you will start hiring. So that is the purpose. So this is one. Diversity is just one thing, but the other is also how do you advertise on different social media. Also, how do you create a strong employment brand? So what it does is it doesn't remain just the hiring. It becomes a very strategic talent acquisition aspect. So these days, talent acquisition team will not only make sure that they hire people. Of course, the organization which has the constraint in terms of budgets and money, they will have no option but to hire certain people. But those who have budgets in place, they will of course go to campuses, go to institutes, management institutes, B schools, which are A grade, B grade, and then C grade institutes, and hire them. All kinds of institutes, and there are institutes which cater to different industries also. For banking, there are different courses. For insurance, there are different courses, and there are of course general management MBAs, which has finance, marketing, HR, operations. There are courses on analytics, etc. So depending on what is the company into, what are their products, and what is the what kind of talent to be hired, the institutes are decided. So integrated meaning you will decide in advance before the budget is created as to what is the kind of talent I'm going to hire, externally and internally. Internally meaning you will make sure that the promotions happen in such a manner that the people are shown the career path, people are given the kind of profiles they want to go for, and not just promote people. And of course there are assessments where the potential assessment, etc., where you look at the successors rather. So that's integrated talent acquisition. And optimized talent acquisition is strategic enabler of the business ability to predict external forces, remain agile, investment in new TA products and services, recruiter training, builds strategic skills. So then you go up again, and then you optimize the entire talent acquisition, making sure that you predict how the industry is going to do. So, for example, in an industry which is highly regulated by the regulator, you will know whether a particular product is going to be there are going to be restrictions by the regulator, or that product is going to remain the way it is. So the organization will decide which businesses to really focus on, which businesses to scale down, and which businesses to shut down. So all of that. So it's a exercise that keeps happening, but at least 1 year in advance you will decide what is the strategic priority, and then accordingly, and of course what are the TA products. So for example, whether you are going for portals, whether that's the right way, which portals to go for, which the system or the software to go for. Keep training recruiters, show them the career path also, so that they also remain motivated. Yeah. So this is what it is. It's just that they have shown you 4 different things where you are actually looking at talent, whether you are looking at talent acquisition in a holistic manner, or number one at the lowest level is the operational, very, very basic talent acquisition, which is reactive. So that's what it is. Yeah. Anything else, anywhere in the book, don't look for don't get bogged down. Again, I'm saying don't get bogged down by the terms used. Look at where you want clarity in terms of concept.
Madam, I have a question.
Yeah.
I do not know whether it is very much related with talent management, but then again, I just would like to understand the concept. If you can kindly throw light on talent acquisition analytics.
Talent acquisition analytics.
Yes.
Okay, so talent acquisition analytics is where you will keep looking at the data, right? So, for example, sources of hire, And so there are various aspects of talent acquisition, right? Right from the sources from which you hire, the money that you spend on talent acquisition, and whether people you have hired have continued to stay in the organization or no, or they're leaving, right? So for you to become a very effective talent acquisition team, you will have to do end-to-end talent analytics, right from your sources, right from your cost to hire to retention, whether the people, whether are you hiring the right people because of the business pressure, or whether yeah.
But in so many cases, retention is not in hand of talent acquisition team, because it might happen that we might fix up a person who is very much suitable for the positions and for the role. But then, it might happen that for the culture of the organization or so, the candidate could be not in a position to join, or even if they join, they leave the organization very early. So how,
Absolutely.
in that case, talent acquisition can measure the gap or can do a better fitment?
No, so for example, when you train people and they do well, training department can't take the entire credit, right? They can't say that we have trained people and they are doing better. Marketing team might say we have marketed the products better. So one particular source of data only alone can't help you, right? So you will not be able to gauge whether the talent acquisition team is doing well or no just by one data, and you can't fully dedicate that data to a particular analysis. So you will have to look at multiple sources. So you rightly said, it is not possible to know, and that's more of course you can't say. So only thing that one has to look at is whether you are how are you filling the gap, right from the time the position has come to you to the time you have delivered, whether you have hired, what was the time gap, whether the person was hired in a week's time, then that means you would have done some compromise. Have you done the compromise, whether it was an internal source or an external source, all of that, it's not easy. So basically whenever we do analysis, we have to really deep dive into the data. It's not
So
possible
Mota, I
for
can
us
take
to
the TAT. Mota, I can take the TAT. I mean, from the date when I am having the position to be to hire, and then the candidate is joining the organization or so.
TAT is of course one. Also look at the cost of hire. So
Okay.
talent acquisition analytics is various things, right? Whether I am sitting comfortably and hiring everybody through consultants, or whether I am spending time, effort on portals, or am I paying referral money? There are referral schemes in the company, right? Many organizations have that. Where am I spending money?
Okay.
That's also important.
Okay. Thank you, madam.
It's I can't see anyone, so it's a very boring discussion for me. I can't see anybody. I am missing the person who would always be on camera. The only one person is always on camera, and he's not there today. I'm just wondering where is he?
I think you're referring to Sunil, ma'am.
Yes, Sunil. And everybody's voice is very clear, so there is no network issue. So nobody is in a train. Anyways, any other questions?
Today definitely no.
Jagannath is not in train today.
Yeah, today not in the train. Today is the destination. Thank you.
So your exam is in July, right? Sometime in July? June, July?
Yes, 20th of July, 2027, and 3rd and 4th August.
So how many of you from human resources in this team?
I am into the training.
I am from human resources.
Okay.
This is Indrila.
I'm into the training.
Okay. Jagannath is from training. Okay. What about Mona Lisa, Deepu? Mohini?
Madam, I am from human resource, but presently I am not in the human resource role. So 27 years I was working as a HR specialist. Now I have moved in the operation role.
Okay.
I'm from technical background.
Mohini is from technical. Okay. So is it overwhelming for those who are not from human resources, or is it fine?
No, it like from my perspective, it is fine. I'm actually looking to gradually move towards training, become a trainer. So this is helping me in transit slowly.
Sure.
I'm still trying to understand, ma'am.
Sorry?
Sir, I'm still trying to understand.
No, I'm liking the fact that you are being honest, and the only way you will learn is if you are being very honest.
Correct. That's the best policy.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm not shy from asking questions.
Yeah, you must ask, because that's the only way you will learn, right? How will you learn?
Yes. I'm basically from sales background, so I know it well. The more you ask, the better it is.
Yeah. But I'll tell you one key is to make sure read everything. Read the entire book, because you don't know from where is it going to come.
True.
And don't
That
leave
is
it
very
in
difficult, very difficult. We are, I mean, I am running short of time so many times. I mean, at times it is very difficult to read the entire material and then prepare for the
No,
exam.
it's not much. See, it is not much. If you look at this thing, the font is very big. If you look at the book, the font is very big. So it's, it will be half the size if you convert it into a book.
I try, I mean, for my professional interest as also, I try to go through the material every time, but at times it is become difficult.
Yeah, so it's also about, what's our priority. And it may not be, the reading the books may not be very, very, what should I say? If you're not currently working on something, reading something it may not be very.
If I'm doing something which is very much related with the reading, in that case, it helps a lot. But if I'm not doing something which is I'm reading, in that case, at times
Yeah,
I find.
basically, yeah, sorry to interrupt. Basically, it's more to do with the relevance, because if you're relevant to that field, then it makes it more easier for you to understand the topic.
Yeah, I think the major reason why people avoid it in first place, because you're not able to relate to it.
Yeah, the relevance is not there. That's the main problem.
Yeah.
So when the relevance is not there, then it kind of is like, okay, I'm reading something, and then I have to just appear for an exam and clear the exam, and then I'm done.
Yeah, but how can you make it relevant so that you pass with good marks and just pass?
Yeah, no, that's the bottom line. No? That's the bottom line.
You look at it from the
Yeah.
human processes point of view.
Yeah.
Look at it from if you were to become a CEO of some organization tomorrow, will you not have to know all of this? So not just the HR people, but even if you have to become a top boss, you will anyways have to know this. And someday you will realize, oh, we had done this. So
Right.
and overall, it's always good to know the processes in the organization. Even if you are not the process owner, even if you are not from HR, it's good to know the processes.
Correct. Ma'am, just another question on this topic, like in the sense talking about the talent acquisition, talent development, and talent management. So, are there any current new trends in this field? Because I don't know of any any trends for that matter.
Sorry?
I don't know of any trends in this aspect, in this field, or in this industry.
There will be
current trends.
So when you work in an organization, there will be newer things that you will keep doing all the time, right? You will keep on doing new things when you're working in the organization. The books will be slightly older, frankly. Whenever the book would be written from that day to to today, there will be some development or the other that the industry would have seen, right? Now, for example, performance appraisal used to be done on a hard copy. You would have to write your assessment, right? Both the appraiser and the appraisee would have. I have done that paper and pen performance appraisal. And then there came a day when and I joined an organization where it became automated. So every day there will be something. Every day it'll keep changing. So there will be new and new things. So earlier 360-degree was not there. Then 360-degree got introduced, and it's being used these days now. But look at anything else also, any other process. For example, hiring would always be done through hard copy of the CV. People still use, even I am comfortable taking hard copy printout when I'm doing an interview, so that I know can make some notes and I am able to go through it beforehand. But everything happens on a software right from the time the CV comes. It's there is an integration to the portal. For example, Naukri or Monster or Times, whatever source of portal that you may use, it's integrated with your HRIS platform, human resources information system, and everything flows in. For example, you get a CV, it flows. There is an entire flow of screening. Everything happens online, right? From screening to shortlisting to interviews. All the interviews happen. Of course, the interviews may happen offline, but the comments will need to go into the system, and then even the offer is rolled out from the system, right? And once the offer is rolled out, the onboarding happens in the system. The employee, candidate who agrees to take up the offer will do all formalities online, right from the address verifications and all of that. So onboarding will also have the reference check, etc. All that also will be done, background verification, etc. Everything will be done online. There are background verification agencies who have their own portals. That's again integrated with the system. So everything is integrated. So integration is the key these days. Nobody no longer. Okay, so I think good you asked this question, and it may be good idea to even end on this good note that it would happen, talent management would happen in bits and pieces. Now it's an integrated approach where no longer hiring system is different and talent HRIS is different and performance appraisal system is different. It's all integrated. Even if you have to go for an external system, you will integrate it with HRIS. So either your main HRIS will have different modules, or there are different modules, but you integrate it with the HRIS. And everything happens from hiring to retiring online. People don't have to, your transfers happen online, performance appraisals happen online, your development feedback, everything happens online. So it's integration not only from the concept and point of view, overall strategically it's integrated, but it is also integrated in the system. So if I have to know about some organization, some employee who's working in Assam, or if I want to know about some employee in Kashmir, I don't have to really take out the hard files. I mean, that those days are long gone. But today there is even further development that I can take out various cuts of slicing and dicing of the data and analytics that is required for top management. In fact, they can have access to certain data, and they themselves can download whatever data that they need. So integration is the key these days. People no longer want to spend time or rather waste time on any manual work or trying to get data from various departments. Within the organization, if the performance appraisal team is different and the people who do data entry and HRIS is different, and those who take care of HR operations and onboarding are different, we don't have to run from pillar to post asking data to different people. And any change done in one aspect gets change everything. So then your email ID creation, your employee code creation, and final exit where the clearance is taken from various departments, everything, and finally your experience letters, service certificates also will come out of the system, and including your exit interview. Of course, exit interviews are done face to face also, just to get more idea about why an employee is leaving. But otherwise, this is all done online to make sure that the life is easier, smooth, because the business has become complicated. There are complicated structures in the organization. There are multiple stakeholders involved. Just to make sure the life is easy, everything is done online. Everything is automated.
Thank you, ma'am.
So automation is just one part, Chandru, but there are various things, right? I mean, even the vendors which are there, for coaching and mentoring, I had never thought there will be a time when we will have to have a coaching platform also, a system or a software where the coaching is also done online. We are even talking about AI enabled, or where you get the questions or answers to the coaching questions.
Actually, that was going to be my next question. About the AI technology in this digital age, with all this machine learning and all. So how does that affect talent management as such?
It doesn't affect talent management. The only thing is that people who used to create the hard files, the files of employees, they are not required. So that one person will be less. People who would be printing the payroll files, though that work is reduced. Wherever there was manual work required, that work has got reduced. But other than that, I don't think there is any replacement for the conversation that one can have with the employee, the coaching or the mentoring that one can do with the employee and all of that. I don't think there can be any replacement there.
But I think, ma'am, this LMS platform is there, no, for the training and coaching.
So LMS is there, where training happens, but ask people and they will tell you in person is always better.
I see.
People who have gone through last several years, especially post-COVID, are fed up of online training and they want to do in-person training. But there are lots of training programs and smaller modules that we do online, because there is no time. One is also because we save money. We can't continue to spend a lot of money on in-person training programs where thousands of people have to be trained. It becomes very difficult every time to create those many training rooms, or if you don't have training rooms, then spend money on external training facilities. So but yes, wherever there are strategic meetings happening at the beginning of the year or end of the year, they all happen in person, because they call it offsite, and you even end up going to good places. But there is also, so there are pluses and minuses of both. The organizations spend on in-person training program, but organizations also save money by doing virtual sessions. So it all depends on the need, what kind of training it is, and what is the purpose, what is the end objective of the training.
Correct. Thank you very much.
The organizations still have the long-term development programs, right? There are various universities, institutes which have residential programs where people have to stay for 5 days, 6 days, and do those programs. And at the same time, you have these smaller modules of 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, where people have to do virtual. They have to go through all the modules virtually and then give exams also. Assessments are also done virtually. Any other question? Yeah, we still have 15 minutes. those who are quiet, Biswadeep, Mohini Joshi, Swapna, Deepu, are you all there? Vinod?
Yes, madam.
Where are you in the entire thing, in the journey of ISPD diploma?
Oh, ma'am, I'll be starting with assignments honestly, and I am just making a note of what is happening in lectures, but I have not started with the real study. So I
No,
could
I'm
not
sure your first
contribute to what you're
priority,
looking.
yeah, first priority would be assignments, of course, because you have to submit that. But it happens. I have been teaching for. I have taught already few batches, and I have realized that people keep it for last moment. Very
And I
small.
am from engineering background, so we always do everything at the last moment.
No. It's a human tendency. You know that rule. What is that rule? You know the time that we have. Our work expands to fill that time. Murphy's law.
Ah,
Yeah. So if we have to do these assignments after a year, we will do it closer to the date. And if we have to do it after 6 months, we will do it closer to 6 months. We have to do it after a month, we'll do it closer to that 1 month time.
because otherwise, it's not that. I mean, what happens is we tend to again forget also a little bit, and then again refresh because we are doing office work also, like homework also. So, like I'm giving some other technical exams also, so all that gets mixed. in there.
If you're doing multiple courses, I can understand that your priority has to be what is at hand right now. But
What
if
is
you're
the
not
next
doing 2-3
first
courses,
exam?
then
Like we have been asked to complete a few certification exams before also month end or so. So that those are internal exams only, but that is the part of customer environment, and those need to be complete. So, but I'm at
no
least
worries.
keeping in touch so that I don't lose track of what is happening in lectures.
No worries. I mean, whatever suits you.
I know you find it like most of them are quiet, but I don't like. I'm not sure about others, but I'm a little into two, three things. So I at least try to be in touch.
Sure. Yeah, any more questions?
Madam, this is Vishwadip.
Yeah.
In assignment, I'm not going with the assignment, but that question start with the summary. To start with the summary, and please can you guide? Hopefully that you have given the answer earlier, but if you again give us some guide that how to start with the summary. And a summary, what to be the context should be written over there.
See, whatever case study you get, you will have to first write the context of the case study. I'm just saying in general. Okay, whatever case study you get, you will have to very clearly refer to the questions. But in short, you could mention the summary. So depends on what is the kind of marks you have. Okay, so whether it is a 10 marks question, whether it is a 5 marks question, what is it that you are keeping for the end, which question are you doing in the beginning, all of that, depending on that, you will have to write your answer, right? So if it's a 10 marks question, then you will have to write in detail. You will have to make sure that the case is read properly. We realize that people did not read case properly, so reading the case and also making sure that if you have time, then you could mention what is the summary of the case. Okay, if you don't have time, then go for the questions directly. But it's always good that this is the context of the case. For example, if somebody says, I mean, the case says that it's a growing organization, and you are the HR head of the organization, and you have been asked to create a talent management process or submit a report on starting a talent management process in the organization. You can give that context, that the fact that the organization is growing and expanding into segments, what kind of requirements do you foresee? So, for example, you may say if it's a locations expansion or a products expansion, then accordingly the number of employees that may need to be hired will be on the higher side, and accordingly the talent acquisition team will need to be they will increase in the talent acquisition team. Or if the expansion is not to such a great extent, then you could come down straight away to what could be your talent acquisition strategy in terms of hiring to the specific talent needs, and then come down to all other aspects of talent management. But always start with a strategy that if this is the business strategy, expansion of the business is the strategy, then the HR strategy has to be in alignment with that. And HR strategy would be to make sure the optimum utilization of resources. And for doing that, then what all things you will do. There are many organizations which has a vision or a mission of even the HR department wants to be employer of choice. The organization has a vision of employer of choice. All of that you could mention in these strategies. So what does the case say? Whether it's just the meeting the requirement of expansion, whether they want to do the branding well, they want to become the employer of choice, or whether to make sure that there is just to tackle the competition, or that there is a lot of attrition. What exactly is the background given to you? So given this background, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is something that we can do.
As per the bulletin or the numbering, I can put over there and point wise.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
But if you are making any assumptions, you will have to write that you are making so and so assumption. Please don't assume. Whenever there is any information missing, please don't assume. You may say that I am assuming this, and then accordingly creating a plan around it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, so we have 7 more minutes. 7, 8 minutes. Quickly, Chandru and Jagannath, do you want to tell the class what is your summary of the 2 cases?
About JW Marriott, right?
Yeah, JW and EY, right?
Yes. The very simple philosophy about very simple philosophy what is mentioned in JW Marriott, and what I like most is you take care of your people and your people will take care of your business. And that is the philosophy which each and every organization needs to bear in mind if they are meant to be progressive. And that is the crux of this JW Marriott, what I have got out of it. And this is what spontaneously I can tell about JW Marriott. Again, but whatever, without the book, having the book in front of me, but yes, this is about. Thank you very much.
Right, ma'am. And basically about the EY, in a nutshell, I can only say that it basically is the core of the whole program that EY is based on is on the assumption that all the employees, they are doing their part correctly, and hence everything is working in sync in EY. So basically their main pillars are all about learning experiences and coaching. That is their unique development plan. Is what the whole framework evolves around, the unique development plan of the EY.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is a lot of emphasis on employee experience these days.
Correct.
There are organizations who have specific teams who take care of employee experience. So what kind of experience we are giving to employees right from the time they apply for a position? Chandru, since you specifically asked about what are any new developments or any new things that are there. So employee experience is definitely one of them. So it's not only the experience mentally, but also physically, right from the time person comes into the office. what kind of office space, seating arrangement, whether somebody is receiving the person, whether tea, coffee is offered. So the administration or workplace management teams work on this very, very meticulously. From that to human resources processes, right from the time, what kind of response time is there, right from the time person applies for CV. Is it that they never get a response? That if you don't get response, you are supposed to assume that my CV is rejected, or if you don't get response after the interview, that means I am rejected. So whether we want the candidates to assume, or there is a communication. So now the teams have this target that everybody should be, whether it's an auto message or a tailor-made customized message for the shortlisted candidates. It all depends on how much automation we have done, or how progressed we are, how progressive we are, and what do we think about the employee experience or the candidate experience. So right from candidate experience to employee experience to the workplace management. The emphasis is on employee experience, because the culture is something that is, what is culture? Culture is basically how things are done and said here, right? So your behaviors, your intangibles, how are you taking care of that is also very, very important. Making sure now within performance management, there are check-ins that some people are supposed to do. So when this particular aspect was not there, people would say that yes, I have done the conversation, but most of the times it would be observed that the people had not done conversation. So now people will have to definitely check in and say what got discussed. So those automated systems help in making sure there are reduced biases and there is fairness in everything that we do in the organization. So employee experience is one of the key functions or the process that is coming up these days. Any last question? Questions? Okay, so then one last thing from my side is that please don't anything for the last moment. I understand all of us are busy, okay, but you will have to take out time and plan your schedule in such a manner that all of you pass. People fail, okay, so we should not assume that this is an easy exam and everybody will pass and things like that. Don't take things for granted. And if you have already invested money, time, effort, why not do well? So that's my 2 cents for you. Start planning your schedule in such a manner, and see how you can make it interesting. Create study groups, or have a WhatsApp group that all of you can be part of. If you don't have a WhatsApp group which doesn't have faculty, if you want to crib about them or do whatever, or meeting in some office after office hours.
Appraisal actually.
Sorry?
Appraisal, I said.
Yeah. So whatever we had one of the batches where they had become really good friends. There were good connections they had, and they say that they are still in touch. And I have not seen that kind of batch so far. One of the batches was really close to each other. There were a lot of people from pharma, and they had become really good friends. So make connections, friends in life. They always come handy. You can help each other, and probably the journey will be easier for you, and it won't. See, there is a lot of gap between the theory and the practical, right? But how can you make the theory more interesting by giving that practical flavor to it, by discussing what's happening in each other's organization? Of course, um, you shouldn't talk about your confidential stuff, but whatever can be discussed easily, you should do. So make those connections, make friends, and I'm sure you will have friends for life out of these study groups and out of this batch.
Yes, madam. Actually, already we have created groups, but maybe everyone is very much busy with their own jobs. So definitely, ma'am, that will be what exactly you would just say to us. So definitely, that will be converted in that mode, I think.
Yeah, and please do that. Please, I mean, I really would want to see many of you, those who want to shift to HR, those who want to shift to training. There are a lot of avenues of within HR. So not necessarily that you need to become an human resources professional. If you're not interested, don't become. But there are many people who go on to become coaches, right? Um, I am a certified coach. I am a level 3 certified coach from National Coaching Federation, and I can see a lot of people coming from sales background, people from business background, who have become coaches, and it's a field which gives you a lot of satisfaction. I'm not saying for money, but it gives you a lot of satisfaction when you are actually touching people's lives, when you are contributing to people's life, helping people reach their goals or their potential. So there are various things within HR that you can look at. Training and development is definitely one of them, and then coaching, of course, is there. But other than that, also within that there are various specialized fields like talent management, culture. Is so there are lots of things that you can do within HR also. Yes.
Actually, madam, I am also from sales and marketing, so
Yeah.
I have prior experience in that particular L&D. So somehow there was a passion, or there was any intention to do something in that particular domain. So that's why I started. And somebody was from some other earlier batches, and I have got the references and started these courses. But unfortunately, he has dropped actually. But I'm continuing, and hopefully I will continue. And madam, if you don't mind, can I have your mail ID or contact number if uh, uh, we have any doubt or anything to discuss? So is there any option to connect you, ma'am?
What do you want? You want number?
Number, yes, ma'am. Number and mail ID.
So you will realize that when you start reading towards the end, you will find that it was not that difficult. So why not do it now? Would be my my request to you, like I already said.
What is that?
No, I said when you start preparing for the paper towards the end, all of you will feel that you should have started early.
No, as far as I'm concerned, madam, I completed the reading in the very first month, I suppose, of the start of the semester. And let me share with you all that my system of studying. What I do while I read it aloud, and I do record it so that I can re-listen it while during the travel time or so on, whatever. And that actually helped a lot. even I suggest this method to many people. If you read aloud and if you record it, you will read it with awareness. You will read it with proper voice modulation, proper understanding, proper pauses, everything, and that actually helps. While you re-listen it, then you need not have the book with you. And the most important advantage that I perceive from loud reading and recording it on the mobile or whatever recording device is that the chances of distraction are zero. This much I can share, and that actually helped me a lot for this. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Madam, before
Yeah.
we close, I would like to share my experience. When I started this course, I was heading the HR vertical of Bank of Baroda. I was GM HR, and since I didn't have a formal qualification of L&D because I was heading that vertical also, so I enrolled in the course. And in between, I got a transfer into the operation role. I was transferred from Mumbai to Baroda. After 10 months, now in my third semester, I'm in Bhubaneswar. I'm there as a zonal head, handling two states, that's Odisha and Jharkhand. So that's my journey after I've enrolled with this course. And it is very, very tough for me because so many transfers have happened in between. And it's just 1 month that I have been to Bhubaneswar. I have not opened my books. I have not started my project. I have not touched my assignments. And I think today is the second or third class that I am attending. But yes, of course, I'm confident that I'll be clearing this paper also because these were not new to me, what you have been talking about. We have received a lot of accolades regarding talent management and workforce management. In fact, my interview was also published in BT, in Business Today, especially for this talent management and workforce. So this is not a new subject for me. So I'm confident that in spite of my so little preparation and a lot of responsibilities, I'll be able to manage it.
Please share, madam, that your interview, what you have mentioned just now. Please share it with us.
Okay, it is in
Thank you.
BT. Last year it is in. I'll share it in the group.
Yeah, please share
Okay.
the PDF or whatever. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you will have your own methods of learning, methods of studying. Whatever suits you, please use it. I'm sure people would have perfected some method of study over last so many years since you all are experienced professionals. So I'm sure you would have arrived at your own way of studying. So whatever suits you, please go ahead, do that. Additionally, and of course, I mean, since all of you are working, it may be difficult to meet in person, but whatever way you can keep in touch.
There is also option, madam. There is a there's a Google Meet and another lots of is there. There's main part is if we wish to meet or wish to connect each other, so there is lots of option.
Intent is important.
Yes.
There are ways and means are there.
Yes, madam. Madam, can I have your WhatsApp number or anything like this?
I'll put it on chat.
98331.
But please study, guys. I mean, those who are interested and those who really want to pass this exam will have to study. There is no option. And especially those who are not from the field, it is not rocket science. It's not something that you cannot pass. It's just that the language could become overwhelming, but when you read it and read it peacefully, you will realize it's very simple. So if there are no further questions, can we close the session? Is there anything anyone wants to ask?
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everyone. And I wish you all the best. Yeah, unfortunately, since in the first class, some of you said that you have already done the entire syllabus, the entire, this was not really a very structured way. I went by the flow. Whatever questions you had, we went on doing according to that. So otherwise, if we were doing it for the first time, then it would have been a very structured chapter by chapter class. But that's okay. What I felt was more important that you should benefit, and that was my focus. And I just hope that you you had some learnings and would be able to use that in your diploma and in your professional lives, of course. All right. So if there's nothing, then with that we end the session. I wish you all the best. I wish you all the success in life, and I hope you all do well in exam. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.